Hello Seekers, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Alice Estrella Strange, and today I'm going to bring you along as I craft a candle for ancestral connection. My hope is that this video inspires you to create your own intention candles, customized to fit your own needs and supplies. Before I began my ritual, I set up my space to create a specific atmosphere, or vibe if you will. When I craft ritual tools, I approach it like a work of art. I usually don't follow a traditional process. I allow myself to get into a flow state. What matters most is the fun I have in the process. I incorporate smells, music, clothing, and visual details that match the energy I'm going for. As I'm crafting, having fun, and feeling the vibes, the tool I'm creating is infused with that energy. For this ritual, I chose to place live plants next to dried roses, symbolizing life and death existing side by side, or my ancestors being in the room with me. I chose a coffee-scented candle since one of my ancestors' favorite offerings is coffee. The first step to any ritual I do is cleansing. As I like to say, you need to cleanse the 3 S's: your space, supplies, and self. For this ritual, I smoke cleansed with incense, but there are plenty of other methods you can use, like sound cleansing, visualization, or purification showers, just to name a few. It's important to cleanse all of your correspondences and tools, even if they're brand new. You never know what energy it's come in contact with from the time it was made to when it got to you. The next thing I did was create a sigil that I'll later carve into the candle. I decided to use the freeform method and let my creativity create the magic. If you're not familiar with creating sigils, I made an entire video on the topic that I will link in the description. The intention I chose for this sigil is simply ancestral connection. I plan to use this candle anytime I want to work with my ancestors, honor them, or call on their energy. So I decided to go with a very general statement. Before you choose your intention statement, consider what you'll use your candle for. Be sure you're specific enough, but not so specific that you limit the ways it can be used. Once I finished the sigil, I charged and activated it. I charged it by doing some energy work, essentially holding it and pushing energy into the symbol, and I activated it by burning the paper. Charging and activating sigils is an important, often overlooked step. Charging a sigil is like charging the battery in your phone. You're giving it energy so it can do its job. Activating it is like powering your phone on. It's the point where your intention is officially sent out to create the change you desire. There are many ways you can charge and activate sigils, but that is a topic for another time. Once I finished my sigil, I began putting my correspondences into my mortar to grind into a powder. I took time to connect to each one, ask them for their assistance, and tell them what properties I wanted to call on. First, I added ginkgo leaves gathered on my ancestral land in the fall. I chose this ally for a few reasons. First, because I have a deep connection to the tree they came from. Second, because it's from the land my family has lived on for hundreds of years. This creates a connection to both myself and my ancestors. The third reason is because ginkgo trees are able to live forever if the environment allows. For this reason, I associate ginkgo with eternal life and how our souls continue even after death. Next, I added rose petals from my grandfather's funeral. Beyond this direct connection to death and my ancestors, they're also dark red. I use red a lot in my ancestral practice to symbolize blood, since it is necessary for life. Then I added yarrow. Yarrow is one of my closest allies. I love working with yarrow when astral traveling or creating liminal spaces, because yarrow is very protective and can help us reach trance states or liminality without weighing us down. He helps us stay grounded and tethered to earth while still enhancing our intuition. The last thing I added was dirt from my ancestors' land. Beyond a direct connection to where my ancestors lived their lives, dirt is connected to death. It's made of decomposing leaves and animals, and it's where we return once we pass on. Dirt is also energetically neutralizing, similar to salt. I have an entire video on the magical properties of dirt that you can find down in the description if you're interested in learning more. I want to talk a bit about choosing your allies for spell work. Some of us have a tendency to add too many correspondences to our magical workings. I've learned that too many spirits can complicate things and cause the magic to be less effective. A good rule of thumb is less is more. I've found choosing one ally for each energy I wish to call in works best for me. Adding multiple herbs for intuition usually isn't going to do any better than one herb you have a close connection with. For this candle, I considered what energies I wanted to incorporate and what would balance them out. Even for this, I used more correspondences than I normally do. Of course, this won't be the case with everyone. The best way to know is to try things out and see what works for you. Once everything was ground up nicely, I carved the sigil into the candle. I decided to use a cutting from that same ginkgo tree to do the carving, which proved more difficult than I planned. At this point in the ritual, I am in full artist mode. I'm fully focused on the beauty of what I'm creating and the fun I'm having. I took my time to get it just as I liked. No rushing, just gently tweaking and honoring the design. Once it was carved, I anointed the candle with mugwort oil. Mugwort is one of the allies I work with most to connect with my ancestors. It amplifies our intuition and opens our psychic abilities. Mugwort is also said to hold the wisdom of all collective ancestors. Then I took black salt and rubbed it into the carving for its protective qualities and because it looks really cool. I had a lot of fun with this part of the process and really took my time with it. After that, I spread the powder onto my ritual surface and rolled the candle in it. In hindsight, it probably would have been easier to do this before the black salt, so if you choose to do this yourself, keep that in mind. If I was doing a formal ritual, I would have been very intentional about rolling the candle toward me, but I was very much just following the flow. And magic isn't about getting things perfect, it's about getting results. And in my practice, when I truly enjoy the process of what I'm doing, rather than following a set of rules, my magic is much more effective. There's so much focus in the magical space to do things right, according to what others tell you. But the truth of the matter is that magic has always been about doing what you can with what you have to create the change you need. Often it's a way to make ends meet or help a situation you have little control over. I believe that you don't need fancy tools or specific correspondences for your magic to work. In fact, gathering herbs from my backyard and creating tools out of what I have on hand has always led to more effective magic. What matters is the effort you put in, not the dollar amount or how impressive the herbs are. Magic has always been a tool for those in need. It's a way to reclaim your power, stay safe in dangerous situations, and help yourself when there's no one else to help you. If you've been waiting to start your magical practice or waiting to try something new because you don't have the things you think you need, this is your permission slip to start with what you have on hand. If this is you, tell me in the comments what you want to do and what you don't have. We have such a great community of people in the comments, and I bet you would get some great suggestions. After I finished the candle, I came back the next day to consecrate it, though I did not record footage of that. Consecration is simply dedicating an item as a spiritual tool. It's no longer just a candle, it's now a magical tool for connecting with my ancestors. Now, let's talk about using this candle. When I light a candle I've crafted, I take a moment first to hold it and take a few breaths. Then I say a simple statement of intent, such as, I light this candle and welcome my ancestors into my space. And I do this every time I light it. I also like to snuff out my magical candles rather than blow them out. There is a belief that blowing out a candle will blow away the magic. Now, do I believe this? No, not really. I choose to snuff out my candles because I only do it with candles I've enchanted in some way. It creates a separation in my mind between normal candles and magical candles. It's a way to solidify its significance in my mind and honor it as a sacred tool. In this week's newsletter, Letters from the In-Between, I'll be sharing questions to ask yourself to narrow down the energies and allies you want to call on for working, along with some other tips. If you're interested in getting deeper guidance, more of my personal insights, or joining my free live events, it's all in the newsletter, and you can find that link in the description below. If you like this content and want to catch more upcoming magic, this is your friendly reminder to subscribe, but of course, no pressure. If you like this format of video, click the like button so I know to keep making them. Thanks for stopping by my channel. May the energy you give return to you in abundance, and may you always perpetually grow. Stay curious, friends. See you in the next one.